Severance is known for its hidden details, subtle Easter eggs, and symbolic clues, and Season 2 was no different. We've hunted out some of the subtler ones you may have missed. The opening title sequence in Severance Season 2 is your first port of call for cryptic imagery and foreshadowing. Not an intro you want to skip. The creator of the title sequence, Oliver Latta, filled the Severance titles with numerous hints about the full season. In this second season, the intro focuses on Mark's Audi in his bright red pajamas. The intro shows him exploring through a green brain. It has been confirmed by Latta that this is, in fact, Mark exploring his own mind. The intro also shows Mark heading down a stairwell surrounded by balloons, which links straight to episode 3, where Mark is reintegrated in a basement. But that's not its only detail. The reintegration process involves exploring untapped parts of your own psyche, and so the stairs become symbolic of Mark's exploration of his subconscious, and the balloons are memories he cannot reach. The balloon imagery is present throughout the title sequence. At one point, Audi Mark is trying to catch his own head balloon. His balloon head is completely untied, just like Mark's innie, severed from the real world, drifting through the halls of Lumen. There are many other connections to the season, from the goat paintings and trinkets such as Irving's mug, to the outline of Kobold and the constant references to babies. The distorted faces of the workers and Mark's fast jump from his own reflection to the poster from Season 1 to suddenly facing a painting of the goats reinforces the fractured identities of all severed employees. This both tells us the truth behind Lumen and also what to expect from the episodes, making the opening sequence an unsettling prelude to the mind-bending season ahead. The penultimate episode of Season 2 has got Severance fans flocking back to a classic television show titled After Hours, a homage to an, until now, less well-known episode of the Twilight Zone. Fans who know it may find there is more than a title connecting the two shows. The 9th episode of Severance throws in a number of nods to the Twilight Zone, starting with arriving at the birthing retreat and introducing herself as Miss Marcia White, 9th floor. This directly parallels the original Twilight Zone episode, exploring themes of autonomy and artificiality. The Twilight Zone's episode of the same name follows a young woman called Marcia White, who visits the 9th floor of a department store. She is shopping for a gold thimble that she wants to give her mother as a gift. In classic Twilight Zone style, things are not as they seem. Marcia discovers that there is no 9th floor, and that the sales assistants and the lift operator who seem to be helping her aren't actually real. It's revealed that Marcia has found herself in a holding area for mannequins who take turns coming to life and live among the outsiders for a short time. It's then she realizes that she herself is a mannequin, and she resigns herself to the fate of never escaping her confinement. If this doesn't sound so very familiar to the innies' lives, you're not paying attention. Gemma, aka Ms. Casey, has been dotted around throughout Season 2, but Episode 7, Chikai Bardo, is where she's brought front and center. Again, the title holds massive significance to her potential fate. The term Chikai Bardo is a reference to the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It is the Tibetan name for the state between death and rebirth. Sounds about right for Lumen. In Episode 7, we discover that she has likely been severed over and over an unlimited number of times, with different iterations of her reliving awful experiences in different rooms, including a repeated visit to a dentist's office. We also get hints that Lumen may have been more involved in Mark and Gemma's life for a lot longer than their time in the facility. Episode 7 is a flashback of how Gemma and Mark's relationship grew and eventually fractured. They tried for a child and were unfortunately unsuccessful, but continued to try. This is where things become a little suspicious. Mark and Gemma visit a local fertility clinic to continue the pregnancy journey. In one scene, you may note that the dentist from her severed room is in the background at the clinic. When the couple decides to take the IVF route, this is also unsuccessful. As Gemma begins to spiral, their fertility clinic happens to start sending her correspondence to help in her recovery. On closer inspection, one of the cards is the same one that Dylan had stolen in Season 1. Additionally, when she talks to Mark about them, she refers to Chikai Bardo as Death of the Ego, and the illustrations represent a person's battle with their own demons. Interestingly, the man illustrated in the card is standing in warrior pose too. This is connected to Lord Shiva's form, Virabhadra, in Hindu mythology. Lord Shiva chops off King Daksha's head in this pose. The story ends with Lord Shiva replacing the king's head with that of a goat, Yup, goats again. By teaching Gemma about Chikai Bardo and encouraging her to accept some form of death, it seems like Lumon is setting her up for one final experiment. Death seems to follow Gemma throughout her life, from the struggles to conceive, to her being asked how she would most fear dying, to her experience in the Wellington room. This is where she visits the dentist office. Here she is offered the death of Ivan Ilyich to read. This story by Leo Tolstoy is also about a man who realizes his life's purpose as his ego and material desires gradually dissolve in his final days. Visual symbolism is one of the most used details throughout Season 2. This is done through multiple aesthetics, including artworks, color schemes, and clothing choices. It is very apparent in Heli Helena's switching between a blue and a green-themed wardrobe. This detail is an indication of her struggle between personal identity and fighting against the corporate influence of Lumon, which links to her role as a potential disruptor within Lumon. Similarly, Irving's paintings in Episode 4 indicate he has suppressed memories that are trying to break through to his consciousness. These elements also raise doubts about the effectiveness of Lumon's severance procedure. The recurring imagery of a staircase in the opening sequence and elevators throughout the season also symbolically reinforce characters' psychological incarceration and their transitions between identities. Elevators specifically illustrate the stark barrier between innie and outie personas. And as it is with any great drama, music plays an important role throughout Severance, not only for setting the mood and tone of any given scene, but also for the creative way that it is woven into the story itself. The use of specific tunes subtly connects us to themes of longing and memory, hinting at the outie's subconscious desires leaking through. Even the background score manipulates the audience's perception, such as the eerie tunes being used to mirror the disorienting experience within Lumon. Additionally, Milchick's infamous dance party scene from Season 1 is mirrored and perhaps surpassed in Season 2, reinforcing how music serves as both a tool for control and an avenue for limited freedom within Lumon's walls. Such deliberate auditory selections enrich viewers' understanding of the series' exploration of repetition, manipulation, and existential crises. As Severance fans, we know that numbers play a significant role in the show's world. Throughout the series, the employees at Lumon are tasked with numerically sorting and categorizing data. Eagle-eyed viewers may have also spotted locker numbers belonging to Heli, Irving, and Dylan, which are the numbers 4, 16, and 23. These numbers directly correlate with some of the recurring numbers that were seen in the iconic series Lost. These numbers in Lost are linked to an equation that was supposed to predict the end of humanity. Some believe this may be a simple coincidence, but if there's anything we've learned about this show, it's that every choice has an important reason, even if that reason is to highlight the tradition of intricate mystery narratives in iconic serial TV shows. Severance Season 2 has managed to masterfully weave hidden details throughout the show that enhance its intricate storytelling. From iconic TV homages to unsettling corporate symbolism, every shot contains a deeper meaning for us to discover. That's all our findings for the subtle, hidden details from Severance Season 2. Did you catch all these clues, or did some slip by unnoticed? Share your theories and observations in the comments. Thanks for watching ScreenRant. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite shows.